8:36, and welcome back to the John Justice Show. Congratulations to Emery, picked up the Subway Fresh Fit 500, a pair of tickets to the second race of the Sprint Cup season. Change in the schedule from previous years. It'll be taking place the weekend after the Daytona 500. And of course, the date of the Daytona 500, producer Josh, is... Oh, so put you on the spot, didn't I? 20th. We have the Budweiser Shootout this Saturday, so you can write this down, take notes. Budweiser Shootout this Saturday, exhibition race, right? Saturday night, good times. And then we have a couple of qualifying races in the middle of the week. And then we have the 500, Daytona 500, the following Sunday the 20th. Then this race, no, it's not. And then this race on the 27th, which you can win tickets to throughout the week, just like Emery did. And you can join me there, meaning we'll both be at the races. Not necessarily sure that we'll be sitting together. And then the season continues from there for like the rest of the year. So there you go. Another opportunity for you to win tomorrow. Just be listening for your cue to call in, and you can win just like Emery did. 751-1041 is the phone number. We were just talking with Rod Pace from Rosemont Copper. Starting off with the conversation about this $13,000 mine that the Pima County decided to commission. And didn't get into a lot of detail with Rod, because whenever we have him on from Rosemont Copper, it's always good to be able to open the phone lines up so that you can get some of your questions answered. And if you missed any of the conversation, we'll put it up as a podcast, Justice on Demand. But the Pima County Commission model shows in stark detail the mine's open pit, which would go more than a half mile deep, and its tailings and waste rock covering more than 2,800 acres. They say it's not aimed at inciting opposition to the already controversial mine, according to Nicole Fife, an aide to the county administrator, Chuck Huckleberry, but by showing the depth of the pit, the volume of waste material. The model backs up the county's views of the seriousness of environmental impacts. Well, of course there's going to be environmental impacts. Of course there is. It's a mine. You are going to have an impact on the environment. Now, the question is, ultimately, how negative is that impact going to be? And how are those negatives up against the tax revenue that's brought in, the jobs that are brought in? And personally, for me, the environmental damage is not going to be nearly as important as those jobs are. And people need to go and do their research. I can't believe the county spent $13,000 on this model when Rosemont Copper will give you a free tour of the area and show you their own tour site there at the mine and showing you exactly what it's going to look like. Because there really isn't a whole lot of deviation, right? I mean, essentially, you've got the same parameters of how big the mine is going to be. One model shouldn't be all that different from another, unless you're the county and you didn't bother putting in all the vegetation that the Rosemont Copper plans to do. The three county supervisors who approved the model said they found the model useful, although they would have preferred a cheaper version, $13,000, which staff said wasn't feasible. The board never voted on the model because its cost was below the level requiring a vote. Huckleberry informed supervisors of the plan for the model last October on 7 of an 8-page Rosemont memo. Here's the part that I find just a little bit disturbing, is that there is a cost that is below the level of requiring a vote. Now, I need to do some more digging in this, but it's $13,000. I need to go and find out. I've done some looking, but I haven't been able to since the story came out on Sunday. But I'd like to know exactly what amount of money does require a vote. I mean, $13,000 it's a chunk of change. And for what? To go and show what you can already go and see elsewhere? I mean, again, I think that more than anything points to the fact that this model, at your taxpayer expense, was built simply to show the opposition to the Rosemont mine. I mean, why else would they spend that much money? Why else would they spend $13,000? And I mean, it just goes to me to show the waste that not only we have at the city level, but at the county level as well. Rosemont Copper, which has proposed the mine, offered little comment except to why the county only looked at one of the many possible alternatives for the mine layout. Let's go and talk with Steve on line one. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to 104.1 The Truth. How are you this morning? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other part to this whole thing, too. I mean, the money didn't even stay locally. Yeah. Well, and I don't buy into this either. And thanks for the call, Steve. There were some suggestions as to who could have built this model, made of polyurethane foam, 4 feet long, 3 feet, 4 feet long, 3 feet wide. And it's not a very big model, but I don't buy into this. It couldn't have been done locally. My brother works in special effects work and started off as a model builder. In working his way up for the company he works for out in Los Angeles. But essentially, he still is that. He's a miniature builder for commercials and for movies. And I have a hard time believing that if the county didn't put out a bid for a model based off of a certain set of dimensions, that there wasn't somebody locally who could have, for a fraction of the price, built this model, if anything, just to get a name for themselves out there in terms of the skill that they have living here in Tucson. Let's go and talk with Bill on line two. Good morning, Bill. Welcome to 104.1 The Truth. To vote, right. Yeah. Well, and it's bad government, it's bad leadership, and thanks for the call, Bill. You're absolutely right. You wonder, and this is total speculation on my part, but if you wonder if the amount of money, the level at which requires a vote, was based upon some research that was done where they went and they polled a bunch of voters to find out how much money, in their minds, actually means a lot of money. So, they said, well, we went out and asked voters how much money they think is a lot of money in terms of wasting money at the county level. And per that, they decided that $20,000 wasn't all that much, but $50,000 was. So we set the cap at $20,000 because we know that at that level, the public won't be nearly as concerned. But, kind of going back to what Bill was saying, ultimately, he's right. It's up to us as, residents of the county, residents of Tucson, to hold these individuals accountable and sit back and go, why did you spend this much money on this? Sure, it didn't require a vote, but why? What was your motivation? Why didn't the money stay here? And why didn't you bother to open it up for bids? And of course, you're going to get the runaround. You're going to get the typical rigmarole that you get when we didn't have anybody here. There wasn't enough time. We really thought that a model of this dimension and of this detail and this intricate really needed somebody professional. Where have we seen this happen before, though? The Hookie Talk video, for crying out loud. $820,000 for a Tucson Origins museum, for a movie, for a museum that doesn't exist, that was paid for to a film company out in Maryland. 751-1041 is the phone number. 847 right now on the John Justice Show. Coming up, speaking of a waste of money, well, I'm not 100% sure this is a waste of money, but I do find it interesting. A 6-mile urban greenway planned. I'll tell you where it's planned for coming up next on the John Justice Show.